Good morning, New Zealand. I'm off to Christchurch to hopefully go for a fly in an electric plane. The Electric Vehicle Podcast, hosted by Theo Gibson. This podcast could not be brought to you without the help of our generous sponsors. Thanks to our gold sponsor, OEM Audio, leading supplier of charging cables and accessories in New Zealand. Hello and welcome to the Electric Vehicle Podcast. Theo Gibson here. Welcome to my adventure. So if you hadn't already caught up, I basically jumped in a plane, flew to from Auckland to Christchurch, and was picked up at the airport by a good friend and longtime sponsor of the podcast, Paul O'Connor from OEM Audio. And we headed round to the other side of Christchurch Airport where they park and fly the light aircraft. I was very excited to go for a fly in New Zealand's first electric aircraft run by Gary Freedman from Electric Air. Gary had previously been on the podcast and had invited me to come for a fly, and I saw the opportunity and I grabbed it. So it's a little bit rough, but you get the idea. Hey there, it's Theo here from the EV podcast. I'm here with Gary Freedman from Electric Air, and today we're going for a fly in an electric plane. Thanks, Gary.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty
a bit unusual.
Yeah. So how long has it taken you to get this plane here?
It's been a bit of a mission for a few years. A bit of a goal of mine of driving electric cars but flying petrol planes, and kind of went through this process and found this manufacturer in Slovenia called Pipistrel.
Yeah.
And we brought the plane in about a year ago. Got stuck in a hangar for COVID and all that sort of fun, and then we've been flying it for a few months now. But it is the first electric plane in New Zealand, and It's the only electric plane in New Zealand at the moment.
Wow! Yeah. And hopefully today we're going to try and do a bit of a podcast from the air. So it may be the first electric plane podcast ever. Who knows?
Making history.
Yeah, making history. So let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm sure I can't fit in there, but that's good.
Okay, so are you all set on the videos?
Yeah.
Voice and everything?
Yeah, we're recording on everything. So
okay,
we'll just monitor these levels while we get going.
Okay,
all pretty good.
4. Okay, so I'm going to say clear prop, and we turn the power on. So we're now live, and we'll engage in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a bit different, isn't it, to a combustion engine noise?
So quiet.
Okay, great. So we'll just get rolling now.
Sounds like an office fan I bought from the warehouse. So Gary and Theo are about to fly off into the blue yonder.
There's a really nice, one of the really nice features about the electric plane is if you're at an airport like Christchurch, where the big airport, and you have to hold for large aircraft or whatever, sometimes you just throttle off and burn the juice. So
wow.
Yeah, it's really nice.
You really feel how light the plane is on the runway, can't you?
Yeah. It's
the way it moves.
Yeah, it's very sensitive plane. The controls are quite sensitive. Flight technology, but it's nice. We're getting a lot of people.
Yeah, lots of people.
Looking at never seen an electric plane in their lives.
Yeah. So we're taking off on the grass.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So we keep out the way of the big boys.
Yay.
Here we are. So we were just at the famous Theo Gibson from the podcast, and this is one of the beauties of the electric that we're holding at Christchurch Airport, just waiting for clearance, and our propeller is
not moving.
So how nice is that?
It's amazing.
Cheers.
I can just imagine pilots who have the same kind of shock that they would with an electric car. It's so quiet. The propeller's not moving.
Yeah, exactly. It's really weird. This particular point for them is really odd. So, okay, here we go.
Well,
And it's a beautiful thing.
there you go, you're in the only electric plane in New Zealand.
Who would have thought?
Got that flap away, and away we go. We'll power back. So that was 60 kilowatts for takeoff. Now we do 70 knots.
So your battery's 300 and what, 670 volts?
Yeah, it's about 400 volts. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Under load now, yeah. Wow. It's a beautiful day in Christchurch.
lovely, lovely. Yeah, you got a really, really good day for it. It's great.
Wow.
So there we go. That's a different kind of departure from Christchurch Airport.
Yeah, totally. So do all the light aircraft take off the grass? Is that kind of the thing at Christchurch?
You can choose to take off on hard, but it's just easier to keep separate, generally speaking, from the big boys. Also, you know, it gets you slightly away from turbulence, just getting a little bit of separation. But no, you can use both.
Wow. That's fantastic. So, did you choose Christchurch for any particular reason when choosing to operate? You're living here?
Just
Or?
'cause I was living here,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
What's the boundary along here? Are we in or out?
You're in by about 2 miles. It's 2 miles to the east of you.
Okay, thanks.
I just listen when the radio
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
on. It's going to be talking to us, or be about traffic. So no, I was living in Christchurch, so that was where I first.
The side of the control zone, not the noise abatement area.
Yeah, the control zone.
Living in Christchurch, and then approached Christchurch City Council, who helped us with some grant funding through a sustainability fund. And then we approached the airport, and they were very helpful as well in accommodating us there. You know, because it is an international airport, and they were supportive, helped us with the charging infrastructure, which we needed to get 3-phase power in at a particular point where there wasn't any. So that was great. And then, and then found some other people who were interested in the project. So a few of us got together, and that's why we're in the Christchurch area. But we are talking to some people on the North Island in a couple of places who are interested in the aircraft now. So we've been showing. Yeah, we're only just really starting to show other operators the plane.
I guess this is very much a trial run, isn't it? Then you could buy more for different centres, I guess.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, so we hope to have a few more planes in the country. Maybe later this year or next year. I hope it grows.
And so you've been operating for how many months now? Like,
we've
been lockdowns.
Yeah, we only launched at the end of October, 30th of October. So really started operating November, December. So it's only really been about 3 months of real operation.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so we're quite new. We had a lot of coverage, and including yours, and interest from all sorts of people, from quite traditional airline pilots and aircraft pilots to people who have EVs anyway and are kind of drawn to those more environmental things. But
New Zealand 765 Mike, establish dial STME02.
Yeah, and
New Zealand 765 Mike, Christchurch, good afternoon, runway 02, clear to land.
So we're finding we do get some pilots who come through who want to get a type rating in it, which you do when you go move to any other aircraft, and they kind of just want to do it because
they can put it on their CV.
Hey, I can fly an electric plane. So we love that. We're loving those, and we're doing some those sort of type ratings at the moment. That's quite popular. And then people coming for trial flights, who might be interested in training.
Yes.
So we'll take them up with an instructor, and they can see what it's like to fly, and kind of flying guilt-free, so they can get into the sport without those pollution, without the pollution issue. And there's actually a lady who's with us at the moment, who's sold her aeroplane because she bought an EV. She owns a petrol plane and sold it for environmental reasons. Wow. And then so she's coming to rate onto this plane. That's really exciting for us. Yeah, so some nice stories like that.
Wow. So and how would you do? How long would because this has got what total flying time of 90 minutes? Is that right?
Yes.
If you were running to flat, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. So you fly. Yeah, we'd never fly for more than an hour.
Yes.
And then, so an hour. We offer 2 fly an hour.
Yep.
And then half an hour reserve. Yeah.
Towards Wisconsin.
Wow.
You can run my
Amazing.
I'm just going to make a couple of radio calls, so just letting people know where we are.
Yeah.
So the situation now is that we are 1,300 feet. We have to keep below 1,500 in this area.
And so it's going to ask.
Yeah, so that's why we keep it quite low. But it's nice being low because
amazing.
Yeah, because you get to get a good view. You can see the coast there.
Yeah.
Heading up to Kaikoura up the coast there, and then obviously all the Alps to our west.
Wow.
And yeah, what I'll do is I'll just go a tiny bit higher here, and then we'll do we'll just stop the power and see what happens.
Yeah. Wow.
We're just climbing now, just nice and slowly. And you do find it's a bit like an EV. I don't know what you're like with EVs, but I always try and drive as efficiently as possible. So in a normal petrol plane, I might shove on the throttle and ram up to whatever height we want to get to. And this you tend to, well, you know what? I'll just climb 100 feet a minute rather than 1,000 feet a minute. Just do it on a minimum power. So here we are. We're at 1,500 feet, and I'll just level off now. And we're level with 20 kilowatts, which is about a third of the total motor power.
Yeah, right.
I'll point the parts on the medevac flight.
And then just now, I'll completely take the power off. And there you go. So we're now at 0. So we're using nothing, and we're just maintaining about 65 knots. Nice sort of glide speed.
Wow.
And yeah, we're a glider now.
Wow.
If you get a nice thermal or something, it'll get us up a little bit. We're actually now climbing 200 feet a minute just on the thermal. So
wow.
And that's it. That's what it feels like. So what's happening at the front with the prop is that it continues to rotate.
Yes.
And actually, we'll windmill.
Yeah.
And we generate power just like in an EV. So if we go down a bit, faster, you'll actually see minuses.
So you will get effectively regen.
Yeah. So I'll try and do it now. So
wow.
If you watch that, we should get into. Yeah, we're a bit close to it. We're a bit close to it, but there you go, -1. There you go.
Wow, that's crazy.
So you just power off, and as you descend. Well, the first thing is as you descend, just like in an EV, you don't use any power.
Yeah.
But if you're descending with a bit of speed, you will actually regenerate, just like an EV coming down a hill.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
As simple as that.
Wow. And it's fully carbon fiber, this plane, right?
Yeah, it's completely composite. Everything in it's composite.
Wow.
Which really where light aircraft and big aircraft going in. The 787 is a composite plane. So it's really where all planes are going now, moving away from metals. Composites are lighter and stronger. So that's definitely where it's at, and it gives a great advantage to electric, obviously. With the weight. So power to weight ratio in a plane is much more important than in a car. You can't just load with batteries. But the batteries in this are like a Nissan Leaf, 21 kilowatt hours.
Yeah. But they look like they must be a lot smaller, eh?
Yeah, they are smaller. It's a slightly denser battery technology in the Leaf, but it's I think they weigh all up about a little over 100 kilograms.
Wow.
So it's 2 batteries packs, one at the front and one at the back. And they're completely dual redundant. So if you ever had something going wrong, because they've each got their own battery management system.
Wow.
So if anything ever went wrong with one battery, it would just switch to the other one, and you can still fly with about 55-60% of the total power, which is plenty. At the moment, we're flying with not even a third of the power now. There's no reason at all that we would need it.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's amazing. So, I mean, this has huge inroads, right, for anybody who's wanting to get into sports flying or whatever kind of flying, right? Because it's going to be so much more cost effective for them, I assume.
Yeah, it's more cost effective. But like EVs, they do cost a bit more than the equivalent petrol version to buy up front.
Yeah.
Cheaper to operate, as you'd expect. So it's that usual maths that goes into it.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Yeah, and look, we're just coming up to our first 100 hours in it, and we've had absolutely zero to do on anything. The only thing we had is we had a puncture, so we had to change it in a tube.
It's like EVs and the brake pads. Heads the brake pads.
So you've still got still got tyres and undercarriage and those sort of things. That's the Rangiora airfield over there, by the way. That's where we basically see it's only about 10 minutes away.
Oh.
So what I'll do now is I'll call back in because we'll start heading. We'll take another couple of minutes because it's such a nice day.
It's amazing.
We'll do a bit more,
I've forgotten how flat Christchurch is. So flat.
Yeah, until you get to the Port Hills over there.
Yes.
So and then you get like kind of 1,500 feet. So
wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's so exciting, and I guess I think we talked about servicing on the last podcast we did, but it's just there's not a lot to do, right?
No, there's really not a lot. So literally the servicing, not servicing, but the regular maintenance on the engine is check the coolant level.
Yes.
So the coolant level is because for the motor and the inverter are liquid cooled.
Yes.
So you have a look at just like in a car, and you go, it's above minimum. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's an inspection. You're just checking anything. It looks okay. But really, it's as simple as that. And then
on your traffic, that's our direct road, somehow 1,200 feet southeast.
Yeah. Coming into us.
Yeah.
Just the helicopter on the radio. Yeah. So what I'll do is just go over to there's a reporting point over here, and then we'll start turning back. So I'll just do a report from. Yeah, it's a quite nice view here of the Alps stretching into the distance. Yeah, in
really
winter,
great
it's all
visibility.
covered, yeah, great viz, particularly at the side doors and the little sunroof as well.
Well, it's an EV. Nice. It's got to have one, right? I mean, they all do now.
It's all the rage.
All the rage.
Yeah.
Wow. And so this is all composite. This is a plastic. The shielding and the windows are all. There's nothing really much. No weighty construction in it, really, is there? It's all aluminium and it's amazing.
One of the odd things that they added to this, they put on display, which I think is really strange, is there's actually a lumbar support, a little thing, a bulb here that you can actually change for your foot to make your back more comfortable. I think
it's hysterical.
Need that, but it's a comfy plane. But I'm just going to do a call here. Just leg it out of the way of the.
Totally.
Yeah.
So what's the highest height you can take this plane up to?
Probably about 10,000 feet would be fine. One of the advantages of electric is with a combustion engine plane, as you get higher, there's effects on the carburetor.
Yes.
And a mixture, you have to think about riching or leaning a mixture depending on altitude, and there's also a thing called carb icing, which is a very common issue with ice planes.
Yes.
We get carb icing and that can cause an engine failure.
Right.
With electric, you've got none of those issues.
Wow.
It's a really significant advantage, actually, and it's something that pilots are beginning to realise, that the simplicity. It's just a superior technology. Just like we know, it is a superior technology. It's so much simpler. Even monitoring now, flying now, I've only got 3 temperatures to monitor.
Yeah.
No oil pressure to look at, no fuel pressure to look at. Don't think about carb icing. So obviously, just looking out for traffic and all the safety things. But in terms of an engine, this is so much simpler. So
Wow. Do you think we're going to see the ability of buying a kit like this that you could build, like a kit plane, electric kit planes in the future? Because this kind of reminds me of that in a way.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in the microlight world, where you're absolutely allowed to build kit planes or even make them yourselves, and you can actually purchase the components, the motor and the battery and the inverter controller from the manufacturer's plane. They're happy to sell you those components, just like Tesla will sell you the battery, and then away you go. So that is, I'm sure that is going to happen.
Prior to departing from.
And then at the other end of the market, they're getting bigger electric planes, and there's going to be a lot more of them. So the main thing that's holding them up isn't really technology; it's more certification.
Yes.
It's a very slow, conservative regulator. Regulators all around the world, and most of these are trying to be certified either in EASA, which is the European regulator, or FAA, which is the American one. And that just it takes a long time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But when a plane is certified, like, you know, you have no problem running it here in New Zealand? Like, once it is certified, do you have to then apply to run, you know?
Yeah, there's certain... so New Zealand's quite closely aligned to the American system, actually.
Right.
And if it's certified there, or even in Europe, there's a reasonably straightforward approach to getting it into here. We had a bit more problem because it was something new and novel, as they call it. So it was a bit more fun. But
early adopters.
Early adopters. Always the way.
Early adopter syndrome. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to flip over to Christchurch Tower and give them a call to tell them where we are.
Speaker with Mike checking pond and request joining for a slow approach and overshoot on the grass and then to the field.
Echo Bravo Mike from Pond, intercept a pylon's arrival and traffic the aircraft on a Mandeville arrival. That's the electric one.
Copy the traffic on the Mandeville arrival and from Pond intercept the pylon's arrival for runway 20. Echo Bravo Mike.
So is that for the runway or the grass?
For the grass and then transitioning to the field.
And back. Not much noise. Quite incredible. After a fly around Christchurch Airport, it was time for a charge.
Okay, so it's this is a dedicated charger for the plane.
Yep.
We've got a 3-phase socket, so I'll let you do the honours. You might recognise that. That's a Type 2. That's a Type 2 plug. But the unusual thing about it is normally you'd expect AC to come out of that.
Yeah.
In this case, it's going to be DC.
Right.
So the charger is taking 3-phase AC and turning it into DC, and we'll plug that one in.
Beautiful.
Head over to the plane.
Very familiar.
And then, so over here, we've got the dedicated fast charge point. So this will take up to 20 kilowatts.
Wow.
We just open it up. And this will look familiar to any EV owners. There you go.
Wow.
So if you plug that end in, nice and firm there. And then we just check that everything's okay inside, everything's switched off. And then we'll go over to the charger and switch them on.
Whack it on.
If you have a look here on the screen, I don't know if you can see if this will come out on the camera.
Look at that.
So it's giving you some options here, so you can charge up to 32 amps. But because we've got a little bit of time now, so I'll probably just put it a little slow, maybe 16 for the sake of this, and you hit charge, and that's it.
And are you charging to 100% of the battery, or is that like?
We do tend to because with aircraft, there's a saying, you never leave fuel on the ground. You just need it when you're up there. So we do tend to fully charge. I mean, we just went up with 97%.
Yeah.
This morning, when I left, we had about 90%. So kind of that 90, 100% is where we like to be. And we always land with more than 30%.
Yes, anyway.
For safety, but also for the battery's health as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, as you just experienced, that was a 40-minute flight.
Yeah,
We've still got plenty of juice left.
Yeah.
So
wow.
there you go. Nice
That's
one.
amazing. And where do you see training of this plane going?
Well, the plane's actually capable of taking ab initio, that means beginner pilots, all the way to PPL or micro license, and actually to CPL, which is commercial pilot's license.
Right.
So you can do. So it's actually quite a versatile aircraft. You can do quite a lot in it. So we're seeing people coming just for a trial flight to see what it's like. We're getting beginners, but the other thing we're really seeing a lot of is people doing their type rating. So existing pilots who just think, I've been flying for years or decades, but I've never flown an electric plane. So we had a guy, US Air Force pilot, in here the other day, and he's flown 56 types of aircraft. He's got the ratings of 56 aircraft, never flown electric. He was really excited. So so it's quite nice getting that buzz from pilots as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Gary.
Nice
it's been
one.
a pleasure.
The EV Podcast is proudly brought to you with help from OEM Audio, New Zealand's leading supplier of safe and reliable AC chargers and charging cables. For more information, go to www.evpower.co.nz. If you enjoyed listening to our podcast, check us out on evpodcast.com or subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasting content. Thanks for listening.